Welcome to the third night of Madonna Holy Week with the Order of the Black Madonna. We are a Black Madonna focused group within the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple, and we follow this, which is our monthly ceremony outline that we do every fourth Wednesday, every night for 5 consecutive nights during Madonna Holy Week. And if you'd like to participate using some of the supplies at home, you'd need a candle. You might want to have some incense, and I'll be reading aloud a card from the Mother Mary Oracle, and you can just listen, or if you have the deck at home, you might want to go and take a look at the deck and at the card afterward, because usually I only read a portion of what she's written, but there's usually several more pages after that we can read. And our themes this year are listed here in case you'd like to come in the future. In July, 4th Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, we will be working with Mary Magdalene. It will be near to her feast day. August will be with Our Lady of Częstochowa. That's the Polish Black Madonna. In September, we're going to have a deeper dive into Our Lady of Caridad del Cobre, which we're going to be seeing a little bit about her this Friday. October, we're working with Our Lady of Magic, which is the temple's version of the Black Madonna, the Madonna of Black Butte, one of the cinder cones of Mount Shasta. In November, we're going to explore Santa Muerte, and in December, we are with Our Lady of Guadalupe. But we'll tonight be working with Our Lady of All Graces, Our Lady of Chatillon sur Seine. So let's begin with just a moment of silence. And if you have some incense and you'd like to light it, now is a good time. A sacred moment to allow the day to drop away and for our consciousness to enter into the mysteries of the goddess. And we're calling in the quarters with these quarter calls written by Priestess Lenny. At the edge of space, Ave Tenebros Clara. At the east, Ave Hodegetria, she who shows the way. Dark Mother, we call to you. Black Madonna of Częstochowa, shine your guiding light and be with us. Ave. At the south, Rosa Mystica, Dark Mother, we call to you. Virgen Santísima de Guadalupe, glow your radiant grace and be with us. Ave. At the west, Stella Maris, Star of the Sea, Dark Mother, we call to you. Sainte Marie de la Mer, pour out your mercy and be with us. Ave. At the north, Sedis Sapientia, O throne of wisdom, Dark Mother, we call to you. Black Madonna of Montserrat, stand as our mountain sanctuary against the storms of a troubled world. Ave. And honoring our ancestors, both those beloved and those complicated, holding a space in our hearts for healing, rectification, restoration, rejuvenation, and connection. We have the same blood as our sisters. We have the same heart as our grandmothers. Tonight we honor you. Tonight we welcome you. Welcome. We have the same blood as our brother. We have the same heart as our grandfathers. Tonight we honor you. Tonight we welcome you. Welcome. Welcoming in, making space for our ancestors. Feel free, if you have a candle there, to take a moment to light it and say this prayer along with me. Great Mother, by the power of this candle flame, may I live well to honor your name. By the light of this candle flame, may I be merciful and receive the same. By earth below and stars above, may I walk gently with grace and love. By starry sky and shining sea, I trust in you. Watch over me. So the Madonna that we are working with tonight, let's see if we can get back to this. Oh, interesting. The image seems to have deleted itself. It's not reloading. So I'm just going to trust the process. I'll examine it later. But the Madonna we're working with this week is Chatillon sur Seine. Our Lady of All Graces, Our Lady the Great, Our Lady of Saint Bernard, and Our Lady of the Castle are all some of the names of this Madonna. So this Madonna is from the 11th, now housed in the 11th century church of Saint-Vors in Saint-Vors, Chatillon-sur-Seine, which is near Dijon in the Burgundy region. And the statue that's there now is a replacement of the 12th century original statue that was burnt in the 18th century. So last night's statue, Our Lady of Cardigan in Wales, was burnt in London in the 16th century. And this one was burnt in the 1700s. So Saint Bernard de Clairvaux, this is Bernard of the Clear Sight, prayed before this, the original of this statue. He lived from 1090 to 1153. This statue is a copy and a replacement. She was found in a farm garden in 1927, where she had been tucked away and hidden since the French Revolution in the late 1700s. Her miracles include the resuscitation of dead infants. So if a baby was born and wasn't breathing, or if a child maybe caught a cough and seemed to die or died, and the parents rushed the baby to the statue was said to perform miracles of resuscitation. But what this statue did in front of Saint Bernard was a lactation miracle. And there are several different versions of this story. But in one version, when Saint Bernard was a sickly boy in a cloister school, he suffered from a dangerous infection. Seeking relief, he went to pray before the Black Madonna. He was reciting the prayer, "Hail, Star of the Sea," when he came to the part in the prayer that says, basically, show yourself to be a mother, or show thyself a mother. And When he said that, the image suddenly came alive and squeezed her own breast, letting 3 drops of milk fall onto his lips. He was instantly healed in his body and his soul, and his heart was inflamed with such a love for the Divine Mother that he devoted himself to her mysteries. And he expressed his experience with an inspired theology. He developed a doctrine of the church that earned him the title, the Marian Doctor of the Church. He praised Mary as our aqueduct of divine grace, saying that she brought the stream of her Son from the heavenly source, God the Father, and that she was the aqueduct through which the stream of Christ came to earth. So again, as we've seen in other Madonnas this week, the story of her miraculous power to heal becomes, in a way, refabricated, dwarfed, repackaged, and relegated to her miraculous carriage of her Son and her facilitation of his arrival on earth, rather than it being her own miracle that she generated from her own body, which of course lactation is a miraculous activity. It's a brilliant way that nature has designed to ensure that the children who are born have nourishment that is completely tailored and appropriate to their needs, all the way up to and including enzymatic responsiveness between the breast and the mouth of the baby, so that the enzymes present in the saliva of the baby dictate to the mother's body what nutrients the baby needs. And by the next day, the body has gathered those nutrients, be they calcium or extra vitamins, from the mother's body and has placed them into the milk. So a mother's body is responsive to the needs of an infant. So this is already miraculous. And the fact that the statue or the image came to life and nourished him was also miraculous. But in later years, he kind of relegates her to just basically being a divine vessel. He says, the aqueduct itself is always full, so that all may receive of its fullness, yet not the fullness itself. An aqueduct which, receiving the fullness of the fountain from the Father's heart, has transmitted it to us, if not as it is in itself, at least insofar as we could contain it. So it's saying here that, people believe that Saint Bernard was initiated into higher consciousness when he received this healing, and that, Mary and the Son of God became his parents during that time. And he went all over and spread the message all over. His theology actually, advanced the cause of Marian devotion in the 10th and 11th centuries. And Christians all over Europe, this is an interesting tidbit, started to dream about being suckled by the Virgin Mother for the sake of the salvation of their souls. Perhaps they tapped into an ancient experience of being nurtured at the breast of a heavenly mother. And since prehistoric times, the goddess has often been portrayed as a woman offering her breasts. And we see this in ancient statues from Israel to the Middle East, Ishtar, Inanna holding her breasts, to the art of the Middle Ages, where there are numerous statues of lactating Marys and paintings of lactating Marys. And in some cases, she's lactating, but the Christ child in her lap is not suckling, is instead watching the milk trail down, as if to say, this milk goes out for the benefit of the world, not just for my benefit. So from the first century on, Christians in Europe were honoring Mary's mother's milk. They would scrape white powders from the walls of the shelter in Bethlehem, where Jesus was presumably born. And they believed that that white powder was Mary's dried milk. And actually, 3 drops of this powder mixed with water into milk were placed into a medallion that Charlemagne carried into battle. So there had been already, and that was in like the 700s. So there had already been this long tradition of Christians going to Bethlehem, finding the stable in which it was thought that Jesus was born, finding white powder on the outside or the inside of the stable, scraping it off and saying it was Mary's milk. So after Bernard documented his lactation miracle, Mary's milk started flowing all over Europe. Many of the important Marian shrines in Europe eventually claimed to possess vials containing a few drops of the Virgin's milk. And Saint Bernard wrote, "We approach the altar of God and pray, and if we persevere, despite our own dryness and tepidity, grace will overpower us, our bosom will swell, love will fill our hearts, and the milk of sweetness will overflow everywhere in a torrent." A new type of Madonna appeared in many churches and chapels, the Maria Lactans or Virgo Lactans, the nursing virgin bearing her breasts, squirting milk at St. Bernard, but also squirting milk out into the world so that the thirst of Christians and the souls in purgatory could be quenched. Modern thinkers criticize that the very idea of the Holy Virgin Mother constitutes an attack on a healthy, natural relationship to the human body and sexuality. And I would agree. I think that the current Mary that's worshipped within the traditional structures has been neutered or desexed, but we can also see where the idea of a nursing mother is such a desexualized, wholesome image. And I think that that wholesome image of the lactating mother does serve as an antidote for the over-sexualization of breasts and all of the projections that breasts receive in our culture, where they're allowed to be revealed if they're in the context of sexuality, but not allowed to be revealed in the context of nursing. So over time, in the 15th century, by the 15th century, more and more paintings came out of Mary with bared breasts. And so we can infer from this that there was something that was being kind of worked out during that time in terms of relationship to the breast as a sexual trope in paintings, of which there are numerous in that period, as well as the trope of the non-sexualized breast. And I think somebody isn't muted, so if you could please mute yourself, I'm getting a little feedback. It would help me. Thank you so much. So there are now numerous statues, Rome, in Bolivia, in Spain, in, and in Britain, where there are now statues and paintings of lactating Mary. But this was one of the first, if not the most important. So I did pull up the prayer, Hail thou star of the ocean, the Stella Maris prayer, and I thought I might read it. This was the prayer that Bernard was saying when he received the lactation miracle from the statue of Mary, and I thought we could honor the tradition of Mary pouring out her nourishment for the world with this prayer. So I'll read it aloud. It's short. Hail thou, star of ocean, portal of the sky, ever virgin mother of the Lord Most High. O by Gabriel's Ave, uttered long ago, Eve's name reversing, established peace below. So contrasting her to Eve. Break the captive's fetters, light on blindness pour, all our ills expelling, every bliss implore. Show thyself a mother, offer him our sighs, who for us incarnate did not thee despise. Virgin of all virgins, to thy shelter take us, gentlest of the gentle, chaste and gentle make us. Still as on we journey, help our weak endeavor, till with thee and Jesus we rejoice forever. Through the highest heaven, to the Almighty Three, Father, Son, and Spirit, one same glory be. Amen. And this is the prayer to Stella Maris uttered by Bernard when he received his miracle of Mary lactating, and it changed his life. And may it be that although we might not feel a particular resonance with everything depicted in this prayer, may it be that we too receive nourishment through our Madonna Holy Week, and especially tonight from Chatillon sur Seine. So I'm going to stop our video for now, and we are going to examine the prayers and petitions that have been submitted. So having taken a moment to lift those prayers and petitions, now let's elevate them with this prayer written by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. We lift you up so your soul can be seen by Mother Mercy, she who checks doorways, sees through cracks, and into corners where souls often hide, seeking refuge. She who is the Immaculate Heart sees you easily, greets you warmly, remembers you with love, for she is the mirror of heaven, the tower of ivory, obsidian blade, star of the waters, seat of wisdom. We lift you up so Blessed Mother can see all that you need now in order to bring goodness and contentment, healing and health, understanding and love to you and your beloveds in every possible way. And especially may all these be given to you in ways you can most easily see and understand, and in ways you can put to immediate good use. We lift you up because you were knitted up in your earthly mother's womb by one greater, not only born already blessed, but also born as a blessing on all of us. Do not forget this, for we have not forgotten you, and neither and never has your greater mother. Let you walk now forward into this day, both deeply blessed and blessing others with the magnitude of our Holy Mother's love. Amen. So our divination for tonight. Today, this morning's practice that I do online, our card was Our Lady of the Ocean of Rebirth, and it was one of those fantastic divinations where the Blessed Mother basically just comes along and says, I see that you're trying your best. Don't worry, I've got you. Just go ahead and let it fall to my feet and I will take care of it, which is to me one of the most motherly goddess gestures that can ever happen, is that the goddess comes along and says, I've got you, and that we can do that for each other. We can be that for each other sometimes. So let's see what is tonight's message that may amplify or enhance that one. Our Lady of the Rose Crown. You are my child and a royal divine being. I protect your spiritual deepening now as you descend further into the living divine heart and know all to be love. As the mysteries reveal themselves to you now, divine rapture awaits you. I shall keep you grounded and authentic and productive in the world that needs your light, even as I simultaneously guide you into ecstatic communion with your holy nature. No matter where we think we are on our spiritual path, there is always something deeper to experience. Our Lady of the Rose Crown appears when you are about to enter into another level of spiritual experience. This new level will be appropriate and healing for you, taking you naturally along in your spiritual progress. What might be suitable for another is unlikely to be exactly right for you. Our Lady watches over you with all-knowing tenderness and fierce protection, and what you need will come to you. You have been preparing for this time, quite possibly without realizing it consciously, and it can take years of preparation to be ready for such a spiritual awakening. We might have been challenged in a relationship that stretched or broke our hearts. We learned to love more unconditionally. We might experience weeks, months, or even years of not really knowing with any certainty if we were on the right path or living the life we were supposed to be living. In that kind of crisis, we learn how to remain present, to remain open, and to learn to trust, even in the absence of clarity. Or maybe everything in our life seems to be upside down, or a loved one is struggling, or we're dealing with our own inability to resolve an issue that has troubled us deeply for some time and is causing us to feel anguish. No matter what the crisis or challenge, the way that we have learned to respond and grow through it has provided us with the development we needed to be able to sustain this next level of the most divine experience, love, the most powerful force in our universe. So may it be that through the power of love, in both visible and invisible ways, we experience the hand of the miraculous Maria Lactans, Virgo Lactans, as her milk pours down on us as starlight, as the radiance of heaven, as the white foam on the tip of the wave in the ocean, as the clouds drifting across the sky, that we experience this pouring down of benevolence, and we know that no matter what's going on, she's got us. And our closing, and usually I've put out my candle now. Great ocean of night, how I adore you. Queen of time and space, I bow down. Mother and defender, I call to you. Watch over me. To she of vastness, I bow down again. Mother of all, how I love you. Watch over me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the silent, secret blessings you bestow. We are all rich in ways we don't even know.